today I am not feeling like myself appearance-wise, and I don't know why. Like, I just can't put my finger on it. I do know one thing, and that is I have had it with my hair. I went to all the trouble to blow it out this morning in preparation for this video, but it is like here, lengthwise right now, and it's all one length, and it just is giving me these like 90s school teacher vibes. Do you guys remember like every teacher just basically had like one length bob that like only either curled under or curled out? Like, that's where I'm at right now, no shade. And it just is so not me, so this is what we're working with, and I'm sorry. Also, am I wearing too much highlighter? Do I have too much blush on? I think I went, like, tried to make myself feel better by putting on more blush, and it might have backfired. I'm sorry if I'm blinding you. So today, guys, happy New Year's Eve. We are going to be rounding up, this is my last roundup video, 2018 roundup video of 2018. And we're gonna be rounding up my product regrets. It's a hard video to make because it's humbling to look around and kind of see all of the things that you spent your money on that just kind of didn't pan out. Like, your eyes are bigger than your stomach in a lot of ways. Of course, not all of it is like a regret in the sense that like I wish I hadn't bought it, because obviously like trying things on my channel is my job, not everything's gonna work out. But there are a lot of things that didn't work out, and I'm trying to stay away from things that I've already mentioned. So like, for example, in my video where we talked about unpopular opinions, I already talked about a bunch of products that did not work out for me, so we're not going to be talking about those today. So we're going to just start from the top. Let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. If you are new to my channel, hello, hi, I am Khaki, and as we enter 2019, we are going clean. I'm going to be reviewing clean beauty products, clean makeup, clean skincare, those kinds of things. We also focus on mindfulness, meditation, self-love, all the kind of positive, healthy brain kind of fundamentals, and it is a really, really supportive community, so we, of course, would be happy to have you. So I hope that you subscribe before you leave. Guys, let's go ahead and jump into all of my 2018 product regrets. Let's just jump in and go big, right? We're gonna start with devices, because wow, high price point. There's just a lot of money staring at me right now, things that I just didn't end up using. So the first is this. Yes, this is safe for work. This is the PMD Personal Microderm device. This is a personal microdermabrasion device, and I bought it because I have really, really, really dry skin. And in the beginning of this year, I was just seeing this everywhere. It was all over Instagram, it was all over my Facebook page and everything, and yes, I am susceptible to those kinds of things, and you know, you watch the girl kind of like hold her skin and just kind of like buff off all the dead skin, and I was like, maybe that would help my acne, because in the beginning of 2018, my acne was running rampant. It was ridiculous, and I quickly realized that this is not the answer to breakouts. I honestly don't know what this is the answer to. I'm not a doctor. It's not the answer to anything that ails me. I found that my skin does not like being physically exfoliated. No, it likes gentle acids. It likes very little disruption in terms of the actual like excoriation of my skin. And for that reason, this just did not shake out. I think it does a really good job for what it says it's going to do. I don't think it's like a waste of your money in that sense. Like, if you are really a fan of microdermabrasion, this is a personal microdermabrasion. Granted, it has a spinning disc on the inside, not the tube that runs the like crystals through the way that you would get it done at a dermatologist or an esthetician. But what is my hair doing? What is it doing? What is it doing? I'm just gonna stop looking at the monitor. But I didn't end up using it or continuing to use it after I did that video because, like I said, I just kind of found products that worked better for me. Skincare products that use gentle acids to exfoliate my skin chemically over time with minimal disruption. And I also discovered the magic that is a chemical peel. And chemical peels have become like part of my identity at this point. They are how I cling to life in terms of keeping my acne at bay. This one's kind of a heartbreaker, actually, and we've talked about this a little bit because someone asked about it before I did my big like skincare Q&A, but this is the New Face Mini, and you guys, I coveted this thing for such a long time. I was just like, if I could just, you know, find the justification in my heart to spend the however much, I think it's like $200, and buy this thing for myself. I'll never have to go get any kind of Botox or anything like that. I saved up my Amazon points, I bought it, and you guys, I cannot work this thing into my routine. Not because it doesn't work necessarily, granted, it's weird. It makes the inside of your mouth taste metallic. It makes your everything kind of like, you know, feel kind of weird and pulsy when it's happening, which is fine. It makes you feel like something's happening. You like to feel like something, a device that you're using on your face is actually doing something. But the main thing that got me about this was that I gotta smear this all over my face in order to use it. And it's a leave-on formula, and I don't know, y'all, like what's in this? Propanediol hydrolyzed hyaluronic acid, okay. Sporocarb, betaine glycerin, magnesium sulfate, carbomer, hydroxyethyl. There's just a lot of weird stuff in here that I couldn't really account for, and it just felt weird because I couldn't get it off my skin. Like if I wanted to wash it off, it won't wash off. It just is kind of creepy. And I haven't really done the due diligence and the research to know whether there's something else that I could use as an alternative that isn't like sonogram gel, you know? I don't know. Is there some kind of like, you know, healthy oil I could use or something like that? Some other skincare product that I already own, but you gotta really slather your face like crazy with this stuff to get this thing to glide. It dries really, really quickly on your skin, and so you end up using a ton of it. And there was just something in my brain where it just like, it never fit into my routine because I would be putting my skincare on and then I'm like, now I'm supposed to like put the, is this supposed to go on first? Because I don't, that's not, it doesn't, what about the rest of my skincare on top of it? I don't know. Do you guys use this thing? Because, I mean, I know that it shows actual, like, instant results, which is pretty cool. Like, it'll just kind of, like, lift your face if you're having kind of a bloaty morning. But long term, I have no idea. Because I couldn't do it that often. It just doesn't. It never occurs to me. The other one that I kind of grew out of that I liked, I really did, and it's not a very expensive product, is the Crazer Radiance High Frequency Facial Device. It's got, if you haven't watched that video or been watching my channel for a while, it's got these funky, like, glass things. What are they? I don't even know if they're called. Probes. Probes. And you plug them into the device and a little, you know, Tesla lightning bolt comes through here and you just kind of like work it on your face for various reasons. I will say, the one thing that it did do is zapped the crap out of this weird mystery thing that I had on my nose for almost a year, I think. I don't know if memory serves. There's a video called like Medical Mystery Solved back in the day when I was just like trying a bunch of clickbait to try and get people to watch my videos. I tried this on that. I used the like, you know, specific teeny tiny little pimple zapper that they have, this one. Because I'd had this weird thing. It was like on the inside of my nose, but it was also on the outside of my nose. It was like a zit that went all the way through, and I was just like, why am I like this? Like, why is my body doing this? Like, why is this something that happens to me? I had no idea what was going on. I zapped the holy hell out of it with this thing for like 2 days straight, and then it emerged. It kind of came to a little head. Brace yourselves. And when I went to finally mash it, because it was the first time it had ever come to a head on the outside of my nose, you guys, it was a nostril hair that had come through the other side. What? Like, was it really clickbait to call that a medical mystery that was solved? I'm not really sure. It was one of the most gratifying moments of my life because I had had this thing just like growing on my face for so long, and so much of the time like I just have to go to the dermatologist like I did with when my whole cheek blew up earlier this year. I swear, you guys are always like, Kagi, your skin's so pretty. I'm like, there are so many evils that I'm constantly fighting with this thing, and like earlier this year my entire cheek blew up and like blocked my vision, and I had to go get it like shot full of like hydrocortisone like 2 times. I was on like 2 rounds of antibiotics. It was crazy. But when those kinds of things happen, you want some kind of like reward, like a gratification at the end. Like, I pulled the sword out of the stone and now it will heal. And you guys, I pulled the sword out of the stone. I honestly, the only witness I have is Mike, because for whatever reason it just did not occur to me to take a picture. I don't know why. I was just like blinded by miraculous light of this thing leaving my face. And I remember looking at it because it was open and there was just the butt end of a hair, like the blunt, you know, root end of a hair, just like dark hair, like sticking out of my nose, and I was like, what? And when I pulled it out, everything healed up. So this thing did serve its purpose, but all of the devices, you know, that I'm maligning and things, all that to say, the one thing that has really proven its worth that I still use literally daily is the Light Stim for acne. So it was like all of these things were kind of leading up to that, I feel like. I just kind of tried a bunch of stuff, and like I said, this is not necessarily, I regret spending this money because I think it was totally pointless and these things aren't worth the money. Like, for the price, they do a great job for what they do, but I think that for me, the Light Stim for acne was just the best choice. And it heals the bacteria under your skin through very gentle light. There's no kind of like overload on your skin. There's no way that you could overdo it, burn yourself or anything like that. Whereas, I don't know, I've never burned myself with the Crazer, the thing that we were just talking about, but I've heard of people like busting like blood vessels and, or like, you know, capillaries and stuff on their skin if they're really sensitive. So I just find it hard to necessarily recommend those kinds of things because it doesn't seem very foolproof. The PMD is not foolproof at all. People can really, really hurt themselves with this. And so like the abrasion thing, if you leave it on one spot too long, you could really hurt yourself. And so that's another reason I kind of shied away from it. But the Light Stim for acne, like, you literally can't hurt yourself with it. You can just kind of like smoke a spot on your face and nothing bad will happen. So those are odds that I can get behind. Sorry, I keep touching my hair. I hate it. I just hate what it's doing right now. All right, so next big topic here is eyeshadow palettes. You guys know, or you may not know, but if you don't know, I bought way too many eyeshadow palettes this year, which is so silly because the amount of eyeshadow I wear is so nothing. I really don't ever wear eyeshadow anymore, and so I have all these eyeshadow palettes that I mostly won't use, but I do value them. Like, there are ones that I think are really useful. The ones I'm going to talk about now are ones that I just regret buying because I don't think that they're useful at all. So the first one here, and this was one where I almost returned it. I like didn't care about it so much. It is the NYX Ignite palette from their, what's it called, Machinist collection that they put out. I was just so at a loss for things that were coming out that were like new. You know, a lot of stuff came out around the holidays, but nothing felt new. Like Tarte and Too Faced just kept regurgitating the same things. Urban Decay kept regurgitating the same things. Everybody was just like, ugh, just all the same stuff. And I feel like NYX did something a little bit out of the box for what we're used to from NYX because it's a drugstore item, a drugstore brand. That said, you know, these colors here are unusual. This had the potential to be something that kind of like changed the game, especially because this is a $25 NYX palette. That's really high for a NYX palette. And it is because these shades, the formulas, are gorgeous. They really, really are. I use the crap out of this white when I don't have like my Thrive palette handy. It's a really, really good kind of like warm white. It has a lot of saturation to it, but like, you know, most of these shades just serve no purpose in my life. They're just these kind of like weird, dark, sparkly, cool toned. They just, there's nothing. And I know that they came out with like, you know, a full collection with this, and so there probably would have been a better match for me if I'd done like the warmer palette, but like I was trying so hard to do something different, and I just kind of ended up playing myself because these are just not shades, especially these like purples. These are just not things that I'm gonna use. And so while this is a beautiful formula, and I hope NYX chases this feeling, I hope that they keep putting out palettes that are this formula, I'm willing to pay $25 to get 12 shades of this formula because it's really, really beautiful and it feels very professional. This ain't it. It just, the colors just weren't there. So we talked about the wants from the Emily Edit a lot. I really beat it black and blue because the formulas were so disappointing. This is the needs, and I really want to advise, every time I talk about the Emily Edit on my channel, people leave a comment that says something like, I really wish that she would kind of like get it together and re-release the palettes with better formulations because I really want to try the needs. Y'all, this is the most passable palette. I don't know, there's really nothing remarkable happening here, and I know that's the point. It's the needs. It's supposed to be kind of like all the things that you need and not necessarily supposed to be like bright, shiny, bright lights, big city, exciting. But you guys, like, we're talking a white powder that someone told me is actually for the face, which I think is weird. We have, you know, a blush that's meh. We have a highlighter that is super meh. Like Gratitude, this is the most, ooh, there's just really nothing happening there. And I think conceptually this is a good idea. This is another one of those palettes, you guys, that drives me crazy in the sense that why do we need all this real estate? Look at all this plastic. Where is the product? I don't want to have to look for the product. Make the pans square or rectangular. You could cut this thing down to about like this. Like at least the Soph X palette is squares. Like, you know, I did actually really enjoy this release. This is a beautiful palette. I think that the Soph X palette is like fantastic value for your money from Revolution. And look at how efficient this is. Like 90% of the real estate is being used up by eyeshadow. We're talking about like 50% here. What's the point? I don't know. Those kinds of things drive me crazy. Am I alone? I don't know. I don't know. Two high-end ones that I just didn't end up using. And it's not because they're not interesting. I just didn't end up using them. One is actually this one. This is the Too Faced Sparkling Pineapple Eyeshadow Palette. When I'm talking about the Tarte Pineapple, I'm talking about that one that's like shaped like a pineapple. There is nothing wrong with this palette. It just doesn't fit into my routine. Like these shades right here are gorgeous, but I have them. They're everywhere. And like all of these are actually kind of hard to use. Like this, whoa, Jesus Christ. This gold is absolutely beautiful. I should like depot that and just keep it. But like this one, this oil spill kind of color, it just doesn't, there's nothing I wear that makes me put that on where I'm just like, yeah, I need a blue that shifts brown green. Like, it's just not, I don't know. And it's my fault for buying this. Like it's not like this is a bad palette. It's just my fault for buying this. I really just wanted to try something. Wow, beautiful. But it is a glitter. Like you almost need like a glitter glue to make that work because it's just so, it doesn't have a lot of like pigment to back it up. It's just, that's another thing that people, I'm sorry, I'm kind of harping on this eyeshadow wise. I did so many eyeshadow reviews this year and I was so enamored with like the way a lot of the eyeshadows looked in the pan for so many palettes. We're talking about the Fenty palette, even the Natasha Denona palettes, this palette, like even Volcano Goddess, like there are shades in those palettes that look so gorgeous. Oh, and the Beauty Counter palettes are like this too. They look so gorgeous in the pan, and when you pick them up on your finger, they're like loose, crackly glitter. There's no pigmentation behind them. And I'm sorry, you guys, that is not beginner level makeup. Like that is some kind of like riddle that I have to solve. And I'm not there for it. Like when I want to put my makeup on, I want to have fun with it. And they're just not. They're like weird, chunky, transparent washes of spiky glitter. I don't know. It's just not for me. All right, and a high end and a low end last couple that I regret. So one is actually this guy. Anastasia Subculture. You can see I have barely used it, and I mean I watched Samantha Ravindell do like Project Pan on this, or Project Throwback, or whatever she called it, but this is absolutely as impractical as everybody says that it is. These colors are really, really pretty in theory, but I think that, you know, the reason that I ended up buying this was just because, and of course I got it on sale too. They put it on like crazy sale for a while. I just kind of wanted to know what the hype was about, and one of the main things that I learned here is just that I don't really like Anastasia's formula, period. And the fact that all of these are mattes with the exception of like 3, that's the big issue here, is that it exposed Anastasia's matte formula as not being that awesome. And I really compare it a lot to the formula on the Melt Cosmetics palettes because they both have this weird formula. And you guys, I know, you're gonna come for me. There's all these people in the comments that are like, you love Natasha Denona because her shadows are so sticky and you don't like stuff that blends for days, and Anastasia blends for days. Anastasia blends for days. It's not my thing. And so between the prevalence of the mattes in this palette, the actual shades, which that's completely on me, I really just wanted to try some weird shades. You know, it's like, I feel like there's actually a big similarity here between kind of what, I don't know, some of the choices that were made between these two. This one's got more golds in it, but still some of the turquoises, purples, pinks kind of thing. This is the NYX one we talked about a minute ago. It just didn't end up being something that I reached for, and so I do kind of regret owning this. Another one, guys, that I think behaves beautifully, but like I don't need it, is this guy, the Ooh La La from ColourPop. I bought it because I was like, oh, that'll be a fun video. Like, it'll be like a really cute kind of like fun eye look or whatever. And it was like supposed to be Mean Girls themed. Turns out it kind of wasn't. I don't know if they couldn't get the licensing or what, but it made some beautiful things happen. It was not expensive. I didn't break the bank on this. Like, none of this is like, oh my god, I regret it because I want my money back or something. Like, some of these shades are ridiculous, but am I ever going to have a reason to use this in my everyday life? Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So a couple of you guys were like, oh, I just bought this. I'm really glad to see that, you know, you got a really cool look out of it, blah, blah, blah. Like, if these are the colors that you were into and you bought it because of that, I'm really happy that I made that video so that you guys could kind of see what I do with those colors, because these colors do blend really beautifully. The formula is there. ColourPop formulas are gorgeous with their powder shadows, but I just don't know what I was thinking. I think I was thinking, this is $12. That was all I was thinking. So yeah, it's just something I don't need. And finally, from ColourPop also, can we talk about these? These are a product that never needed to exist. These are the ColourPop, come out of there, buddy. Please. He's like, I don't want to come out. You're just dragging me. The Jelly Much eyeshadows. Some of you guys pointed out, you're like, there are other brands that do this and they do it in more practical colors, which makes sense to me. What are you doing, hair? I'm over it. I'm sorry. I look like an egg now, but I'm so over it. Anyway, I did my best. If you haven't watched that video, I did my best in that video to start kind of mixing these shades together. I bought all of them, which was $60 freaking. ColourPop. I mixed some of the dissonant colors together to try and make something that was more practical. All I wanted was like a copper, and they just don't have a copper in here. They've got this like bright ass yellow gold, like super, super yellow gold. They've got, you know, this crazy turquoise. They've got this like duochrome pink orange, but like none of these has any kind of practical application. They didn't come out with a single shade that just made sense as a stinking eyeshadow. There was no like burgundy, there was no like olive green, there was no like brown or gold or a really beautiful champagne color. Nothing like that. And honestly, that is like my only big like drawback of these guys, of the Glossier lid stars. I love the idea of the Glossier lid stars. I think that this is such a cool idea because it is a liquid eyeshadow that buffs out so beautifully, so evenly, and it never creases. When it's on, it's on. You can use it as a base, you can use it by itself, and it never ever moves around. It's phenomenal. But the color selection is just kind of different for the sake of being different. And I feel like that's what the Jelly Much did too, is they're just different for the sake of being different. Like, if I'm speaking directly to a makeup company, I want to tell you, I get it. I get it that you want something that's like eye-popping. Like, you want it to be catchy, so that the magpies of us go and buy it. That's like the biggest thing that I said about the Volcano Goddess palette was I feel like they put these 3 big shades in here because they knew that if they did, it would appeal to a whole new audience of people who just like bright, shiny things, because this alone is the palette. It is so beautiful. I've used these, and I just end up washing them off because they're so over the top. They're so not wearable for me. They're so occasion. It is the practicality of these, just the fact that they chose to go so far in one direction with the formula, making it this kind of weird, wacky formula. In fact, let's pull one of these out so I can show you. But then they also could not do a color that was like wearable in anyone's everyday life. I mean, I shouldn't say anyone, but like, gorgeous, amazing, but like, what do I do with that, you know? Maybe we'll challenge ourselves to like actually use these one day. Just like get like, I don't know, it'd have to be some kind of tropical eye look or something. Probably not. All right, let's move on to lip regrets. I'm gonna be honest, this video's kind of bumming me out. I'm just like so negative. I'm sorry. Let me say that the lip products that I did like were pretty much every gloss that I tried, like every good translucent gloss, because I'm boring, anything plumping, and all of the Glossier Generation G. I'm wearing Cake right now on my lips from Glossier Generation G, and the Glossier lip gloss. If you comment and ask me what's on my lips, I'll know that you have not watched the video all the way through, so nah. A lot of other things that I regret are right here, and I've already gotten rid of so many lip products that I regret, or they're just like rolling around in a bag somewhere because I tried to make them work and then I just left them there because I didn't care. You know what I mean? Anyway, I regret buying the Kosas lipstick because it was so expensive. And it was so like, probably end up using it as like a cheek product or something, but it just is so bold with such a creamy formula. I do have very specific taste when it comes to lip products, and I do like there to be, same way I do with eyeshadow, I like there to be a medium, a Goldilocks medium between the spreadability of the formula and the actual pigmentation. Like, you want there to be just the right amount of spreadability, because if it's too pigmented and it's like a gloss or a balm, like, guess what? You look away for 2 seconds, that stuff is crawling across your face. So yeah, I think that like my biggest complaint is just when something represents itself as a lipstick and it's got such a balmy texture like this does, it just is so not user-friendly. It's very, very difficult to make it work and to make it like stay in one place. I've come across so many like over-pigmented, highly balmy kind of lip products, and they just never work for me. I think I was hoping this was going to be more of a wash of color, because it just didn't. I couldn't get it to work. I feel like my hair is trying to steal the show in this video. I apologize on her behalf. Also, my nose won't stop running. And then finally, this is actually like the most obnoxious thing that I've bought recently. I knew as soon as I opened it that I was going to hate it, but this is actually a clean beauty product. This is the Clove and Hallow Lip something. Another case of, well, first of all, the most disgusting applicator of all time. That is just so gross. Ugh. And I don't think this thing was very expensive. I think it was like $18 or something. This pink has the potential to look really, really pretty on my skin. It gives me this kind of like snow bunny vibe, especially if I like pair it with like a really pink cheek or something. But this is the most inconsistently pigmented formula, because it's a gloss that you apply with a brush, and it's really gross. It's like, you know, there's stuff getting picked up, and then I don't know. This is gross. It just looks really nasty. Can you imagine like saying, hey, can I try your lip gloss? And you just go, yeah. I don't know why. These things gross me out. It's got this really, really heavy kind of syrupy texture, but the pigment is really, really patchy. And so when you put it on, you're like, well, I'm going to rock a pink lip today. I'm going to rock a pink lip today. It is going to happen. And then this thing just, you cannot put enough product on that the very opaque pigment is consistent. Like, that's, somehow this is a gloss where the pigment is like too matte for the actual formula, and so it's like they mixed a bunch of pigment into this formula and the pigment doesn't disperse evenly, if that makes sense. And so it ends up just looking really young. And young, like my kid got into my purse kind of thing. Like, it just has this like gumball machine pink lip gloss thing about it that is just very not grown up, and it does not feel like a luxury product, and it's brand new. I'm like kind of irritated, but still 2018 and I regret it. Another couple of things that I don't have in front of me because I've actually gotten rid of them. One is the Blink Mascara, and really any mascara that I tried this year, I pretty much put so many mascaras to the test coming up against my love, my Thrive mascara. Is the brand new tube of it. Honestly, like, nothing comes close. So, I mean, this remains my favorite. I know I already talked about that in my last one, but I tried, like, and I got people, like, wanted to fight me in those comments. They're like, I've been using Blink for 10 years, and it's the best mascara ever, and I'm just like, dude, you're entitled to your opinion. Like, that's totally fine. I wore one on one side of my face and the Thrive on the other side, and it just didn't stand up. Like, they just are totally different formulas, and I prefer the Thrive. That's just how it is. I am baffled, though, by sometimes when people already have their mind made up about something and then they come and watch a review just so that they can disagree. Like, I get it if you're gonna watch a review because you want to learn how to use something, and then you're just like, hey, you ended up not liking that, I ended up liking it, you know, let's talk about it. But when people are just like, they come for you and they're angry, it's like they actually took time out of their day to Google a product they already knew that they liked so that they could find somebody to disagree with. Like, I don't know. I don't even have time to watch most of the creators that I really, really love. Like, that's not something that's part of my day. Another one, actually, and this is weird, is the Summer Fridays mask. I shouldn't say I regret buying it, but when the Thrive mask came out in October, it just blew that mask out of the water for like $7 more. It doesn't really matter. I still use the Summer Fridays mask, like, you know, in the morning or something like that when I don't want to wear it for a long time. It's just kind of a nice way to honestly postpone doing my skincare because my skincare is so intensive. But it doesn't make really any difference in my life, and for all of the needs that it needed to serve, for everything that I bought it for all of the kind of like, you know, regeneration and like hydration and brightening and youthful and exfoliation and anti-aging and all that stuff that you would wear it overnight for, the overnight sensation from Thrive just does such an amazing, better job. So another round of brand, entire holistic brand that I was wholly unimpressed with and got rid of all of it was The Ordinary. Everybody loves The Ordinary, and they're all just like, oh well, if you buy this then you can like make your own serum and it's just like Drunk Elephant, or it's just like Sunday Riley, or it's just like this, or it's just like that. Like, that's fine if that's what people choose to do. I know that there are plenty of them that are really great, and it's actually a very good alternative for if you don't want to go and spend Sunday Riley big bucks, or like, you know, Drunk Elephant big bucks. But I was very underwhelmed with their actual makeup. They came out with a serum foundation and a coverage foundation, and they came out with like luminous versions and like kind of like non-luminous versions, not matte, but just like non-luminous. Y'all, I couldn't tell the difference between any of them. They were all the same. I'm sitting there trying to split hairs doing that video. I'm like, oh yeah, I can see a little bit more coverage, and yeah, I think that I like the serum. But you guys, they're exactly the freaking same, and their primers suck. They have this silicone primer that is like the worst thing I've ever used. It turns everything into non-drying molten terror on your face. Like, it ruined several mornings of me trying to get it to work when I was like wearing it to work, and I wanted to chuck it out the window. I don't care if it's inexpensive if it doesn't work. It's like $6.50, $12.50, whatever, depending on which one you're buying, but it doesn't matter if it sucks. And The Ordinary stuff, like, I'm never gonna spend my money there again. Plus, I haven't been able to really keep up with what's going on with their CEO, but is he loco? Like, I followed them on Instagram for a while, and that guy went crazy one day, like just totally off the deep end. I just kind of got put off of that company anyway, and now I'm hearing about them again. People are just like, oh, The Ordinary, The Ordinary. I'm like, are we doing this again? Are we doing The Ordinary again? I'm not doing The Ordinary again. All right, and finally, so that I can stop stinking talking about this thing, I finally dug my finger in here long enough to get through the spray over. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Resi highlighter, and you guys, I know I sound so cynical. Why is this all over Sephora and Ulta and stuff right now with the big like new stamp on it? They're like, new Resi Anastasia, and I'm like, it's not new. I've had this thing for like almost a year now. Like, how is it new? It's the exact same damn thing. I was just like, when I first got it, I was like, oh, so sparkly. And I thought it was gonna be like a Becca highlighter. And then when I put it on, like, it wouldn't go on my face because it was just like this crazy ass spray over. And then when you do actually use it, oh my God. It is absolutely insane. Don't want to say that I'll never use this, like, now that I've kind of figured it out, that like it does, you can get highlighter out of it. It's not this weird hard packed block of highlighter, but like every time I put this on my face, I'm like, whoa, that's way too much. Like, it doesn't matter how little I use, it always looks like too much. And I think it's just because it's this like blinding gold. It's exactly what they advertise it as, of course. And so I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying this is a bad product. It's a little misleading because when you get it, you're just like, I don't understand. But it does deliver that crazy ass gold punch that I keep swatching it because it's crazy. It does deliver that crazy ass gold punch that they say that it's going to, but I expected it to be more of like the, you know, Becca Champagne Pop, where it's just got this beautiful diffused kind of champagne color to it, but y'all, that's gold. and it just doesn't work on my skin, and it just doesn't work with my aesthetic. So I should have said this disclaimer in the beginning, but I will say it now. You're allowed to disagree with me. I don't want to say that any of these products are bad products. I regret buying them because I just didn't end up using them. I think that's kind of the point of a 2018 retrospective, is for me to look back on my year and tell you guys like how I felt about all the products that I use, so that you don't have to go watch every single one of my videos and we can just kind of like start from now. I think that it's very unlikely that you would ever run across a video where you agree with everything somebody says. So I appreciate some very mature, respectful discourse in the comments, and I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you engaging, and I really wish that my hair would do something that made any kind of sense. Please send all of your vibes. Make my hair grow, because it's the worst. And if you are living this reality, like right now where your hair is, you know, sitting at some really awkward length, let's commiserate, because this sucks. This sucks. My hair doesn't do anything right now, and I'm trying so hard. I'm so frustrated with it. I've been up since 5:45 this morning. I don't know why. You guys, I'm sorry. I am fully present here in this video right now, but I think that I bummed myself out by just enumerating a bunch of stuff that I regret buying, and it kind of bummed me out. So I'm sorry if this video was a bummer. But at least now you know some of the products that, if you were thinking about it and you trust my advice, that you can probably save your money on. So maybe that's helpful. I hope that that's helpful. If it is, guys, give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you did. Thank you guys so much for watching, hanging out with me today, being a part of this, and for putting up with me. I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye.